legit. Anything you want.
Ripple XRP coin phishing scam shut down by FBI and South Korea police. South Korean police and the FBI teamed up to bust an international XRP phishing scam. XRP, the digital token offered by Ripple, was involved in a scam across South Korea and Japan. The two people running the scam were reportedly able to steal over $800,000 worth of XR from dozens of victims across the two countries. The perpetrators were brought to justice thanks to a joint operation between the Seoul Police Cybercrimes Division and the FBI. One of the arrested individuals is a computer programmer, while the other is that person's employer. The programmer is a 42-year-old officer who appears to be the muscle of the operation. The programmer was hired to replicate a Ripple exchange website, guided by the mastermind of the operation, the programmer's employer. The scammers created a fake crypto exchange website replicating the real site. The next step of the phishing scam involved impersonating the real exchange's email account. Then, the attackers sent emails to users from that email account, claiming that their funds had been frozen. Users, in a panic, would then click the link in the email, enter their account information, and then realize that they had been scammed. In total, 24 Korean investors and 37 Japanese investors were convinced to enter their login details into the fake online form. The attackers recorded this login information, then used the information to log into the real crypto exchange website and steal user funds. The only people targeted during this attack were investors in South Korea and Japan. However, the FBI got involved in December 2017 because Ripple, which issued XRP and continues to be the world's largest holder of XRP, is an American company. Local South Korean media is reporting that the lead scammer transferred the stolen XRP into Korean won. He then went on a spending spree, using the ill-gotten gains to purchase 5-star accommodations in a luxury apartment complex along with other high-end items and services. Although the scammer has since been arrested, he claims the funds are all gone, and that they cannot be returned. The mastermind of the operation, meanwhile, has an interesting origin story. The mastermind was motivated to launch his own phishing operation after he fell victim to a scam in 2014. He lost all of his investments. Although he reported the case to authorities, the perpetrators were never caught and the mastermind never recovered his funds. This led to him launching his own phishing scheme. A Japanese cryptocurrency exchange was also involved in the phishing attack. Local Korean media is reporting that there were 3 people involved in the scam, including the programmer, the mastermind, and a third individual, an employee at a Japanese cryptocurrency exchange. That employee reportedly provided the 2 perpetrators with user data, including email accounts and TUFA status. This information helped the 2 identify their targets. This Japanese accomplice is still at large and is believed to be in Japan. Victims of the scam are unlikely to be compensated. This story is making headlines across South Korea because it's the country's first cryptocurrency phishing case. However, the case isn't expected to lead to a positive outcome for those who lost funds. First, the scammer claims the $800,000 has all been spent, and that he cannot return the money because he no longer has it. Second, South Korean police cannot legally freeze or confiscate the scammer's other assets due to the nature of the crime. Because cryptocurrencies are not considered legal tender under South Korean law, it's unlikely that victims of the scam are going to be compensated. Ultimately, as cryptocurrency becomes increasingly mainstream, stories like this are inevitable. Thanks to law enforcement authorities in Korea, however, the scam was stopped before more than a few dozen people lost money. Ripple, XRP, relieves as regulators start to acknowledge crypto's reality. There is a dilemma in the past few months of whether some specific cryptos such as Ripple's, XRP, should be classified as securities or not. This debate seems to be coming to an end, and that's good news for the crypto. It appears that regulatory bodies are beginning to acknowledge the fact that cryptocurrencies can't function without blockchain. The two are attached and can't be separated if decentralization is to be actualized. Ripple as a company scored a little, finally, as on Wednesday, August 29, its efforts to combine multiple cases filed against it got proceeded successfully. A Superior Court of California labeled a suit against Ripple, by an investor named David O'Connor, as the complex litigation, which means the case will now get coordinated alongside other suits against Ripple, XRP, and not separately. So, does this suggest that regulators might be starting to realize Ripple's XRP and cryptocurrencies' reality in general? We've reasons to believe so. Let's shed some lights on them concerning a couple of things from the recent past. So, over the past few months, the cryptosphere hasn't been favorable for investors worldwide, and worst of it all is that investors are beginning to have doubts due to the pending regulatory measures. However, even regulatory bodies do not really understand the differences between blockchain and cryptos and how they work. As a result, regulatory authorities aren't still certain on the cryptos to regulate. In the recent past, Sopnendu Mohanty, the chief fintech head at the Monetary Authority of Singapore, addressed central banks, international development officials, and other attendees at the G20 forum. He stated that utility tokens or cryptocurrencies are a critical aspect of the decentralized system that shouldn't be overlooked. How regulators can solve the pending debate. Mohanty's statements came at the time when the discussion on how regulations can be made and which cryptos should be categorized as securities caused lots of arguments. An end to the debate and the restructuring of regulatory policies will benefit Ripple and the crypto market, being that cryptocurrencies are utilities and are incentives and security models upon which open, permissionless and censorship-resistant transaction recording systems are built. When regulatory bodies begin to understand the importance of cryptos and how technically coordinated they are, then, they might start supporting these tokens. And of course, the only way to support these coordinated cryptos is to bring great regulations that would enhance their growth, which is the only way that could solve the problem between authorities and the use of digital currencies. The viewpoint of regulators and Ripple's problem. It is important to know that authorities and regulators are beginning to understand blockchain and cryptos than they did in the past. They also know that these cryptos have real-life problems that they want to solve. With that in mind, authorities and regulators can manage cryptos by making use of anti-laundering laws. Categorizing them as either a security or not seems out of date. Furthermore, regulators are making plans to portray initial coin offerings as scams and which investors need to be aware of. On the other hand, a major problem like that Ripple has is the debate that it needs to meet some criteria before it can be listed on major exchanges. With the fact that regulators seem to understand the reality of cryptocurrencies, then, it would be easier for Ripple's XRP to achieve certain milestones that seem unachievable. The standpoint of SEC on ICOs and exchanges. The US SEC seems to be acting slow with lots of exchanges and cryptocurrencies migrating to countries that are welcoming. However, because authorities are getting knowledgeable about blockchain and cryptos, there could be a U-turn in the future. SEC on its own have defined what it means if a digital token is a security or not, and regulatory bodies are making sure they make good policies. However, the acknowledgement of regulators will foster the growth of the crypto market and also bring back the confidence investors once had. The difference between Ripple and XRP. Again, recently, Ripple tried to let everyone know the difference between Ripple, the company, and XRP, its cryptocurrency. The statement was reported by the Hatch Agency, a company that represents Ripple. The company stated that, Ripple is a technology company that solves the problem of cross-border transactions, while XRP is an independent digital asset. The XRP ledger is the open-source blockchain behind it. Chief marketing strategist of Ripple further added, XRP is a digital asset that trades on its own, that's owned by lots of people in lots of places. We happen to own a lot of XRP, we own a lot of cash, shares, and computers. But the company is called Ripple and we sell software. The reason why the company decided to make these statements is that SEC did not add both Ripple and XRP in its June announcement in the position of Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, with the fact that regulators seem to be informed better about the reality of digital tokens now, it is going to be a relief for Ripple. If the authorities can probably proclaim Ripple as not a security, then, it indeed will be good news for investors. Final words: since regulators are beginning to get informed about blockchain and cryptos, and also taking the step to distinguish between safe and unsafe cryptos and ICOs, we could see a big crypto bull run soon. And of course, the latest win by Ripple in California courts can be regarded as the first step in favor of the blockchain firm.